Being mindful means being in the moment, not spending time thinking about the past, rehashing things, feeling ashamed or depressed about the past, and not spending time in the future, worrying about things that haven't happened yet and might not happen. So we want to be in the present. And the best way to be in the present, there are 3 things that are part of the how. So in the past 2 weeks, we talked about being non-judgmentally in the present. Don't judge what is happening in the moment. Don't judge how you're feeling. Don't judge what you're thinking. And don't judge what's happening around you. The next is to be one mindful. Let's just do one thing at a time. And the final how skill is to be effective. When you are in the moment, focus on what is my goal? I want to be effective, and separate being effective from being right. I'm excited that Maris and JD are here, and I would love to hear, let's start with you, Maris, about a time when you had to choose to be effective over being right when you were trying to be in the moment.
Ever since I was a little kid, one of my catchphrases was, "But that's not fair." And I would get a lot of, "Well, life isn't fair" back. But it became particularly relevant in my recovery when I noticed how different my life was from my peers. So I wasn't going to swim practice anymore. I had to eat lunch even when my friends were skipping lunch at school, things like that. And so it became really important for me to be able to recognize and be okay with something maybe not feeling fair, but being what was most effective for my recovery. And while that took a while to grapple with, and I'm still working on not saying, "But that's not fair" all the time, it's really been something that's continued to be helpful for me.
I think that's probably pretty perennial too. I'm having sort of flashbacks of my daughter complaining about, why am I on double snacks and everybody else is on single snacks and that sort of thing.
Such an important skill to learn, and I think this is why we like DBT skills for everyone, not just when you're in recovery, because life isn't going to be fair, and figuring out what's effective. And it's nice that you kind of have that, right? Sometimes it's nice to just have an answer to your brain. So when your brain says it's not fair, you can answer back, yep, but it's what's right or what is effective. Yeah. JD, I'm excited to hear more about how being effective instead of being right helped you when you were helping your child recover.
Yeah, it was absolutely vital. And I would say, really kind of all of fighting the eating disorder is a matter of whether you would rather be effective or right. Because no, it's not right or fair that anybody has to do that. Not that they have to live through it, not that we have to do meal coaching, all of those sorts of things. And if you can really get yourself in that mindset of being effective and not getting distracted by the stuff that's not right, I think it's really helpful. For us, we had sort of a lot of very high emotional escalation from the eating disorder, including even, to the point of having things thrown, that things broken, that sort of thing. And so it's absolutely not right that my daughter would throw things and that sort of stuff. It would super ineffective to get caught up in what all of that was. So sort of recognizing that wasn't her and just dealing with being effective in putting all of that to the side and then continuing on with the meal was really helpful. And I think it was a really key component as well for my husband, for her dad to learn that as well, because he tended to have a little bit of a sort of like, how can you talk to your mother like that sort of problem? And when we were really able to sit in DBT training and hear about why that's not the direction to go and how that distraction can actually keep you from being effective, that's when we really started to make strides.
I love that. And also, I'd love to encourage people. I love that you brought up using them with big emotions. Oftentimes when we're feeling really big emotions, that's when I want to say something to my husband that I'm going to later regret.
Yeah.
Or that's when I'm going to want to say something to my mom that I later regret. And so I ask myself, it might be right, that mean thing I want to say, but is it effective? So give it a try this week. Try out these different skills. Notice the times when you have the urge to be right and how can you be effective instead. And I hope that you all have a really wonderful week. Take care.